It's game week, baby. Once again, Jets and Broncos, they basically play every year since the beginning of time. So we must do another Jets Broncos preview. We have someone from the other side trying to give us some deets. Let's roll, baby.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's going on, great people? My name is Polliston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Every.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you find your friggin' podcast, people. And let's go behind enemy lines with somebody that has worked behind enemy lines for the Denver Broncos, but now he does his own thing. Broncos and bourbon, the best combination I've ever heard. Let's bring him on the show. It is Phil Milani, my good buddy, here on the show. What's up, Phil?
Paul, what's happening? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent, and according to my notes, this is the fifth straight year that the Jets and Broncos have played. I mean, absolutely bizarre. It's I guess, a weird scheduling quirk of how it's all worked out with the standings, this, that, or the other. But Phil, I've gotten to talk to you a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah, when the schedule comes out, I'm like, all right, that week I'm talking to Paul. So every year it seems like we're getting to do this.
And now it feels like fifth meeting coming up on Sunday. The Broncos won the first two. The Jets have won the last two. It's like some sort of a fifth rubber match to try to figure out what the heck's going on. But obviously, there's been a lot of iterations on both sides of different coaches and different regimes all over the place. So I'm kind of curious. What is the vibe in Denver town? Because on one hand, you look at the standings, like 1-2, but they lost to a couple of undefeated teams and then blew the barn doors off of another undefeated team in Tampa.
Well, everybody around here is like all in on Bo Nix. I mean, that's sort of like the big deal. It seems like every year the Broncos are trying to figure out their quarterback situation ever since really Peyton Manning retired. And they've tried to do it so many different ways. They've tried to draft somebody. They've tried to trade for Russell Wilson. They've tried to pick up an aging free agent. They've just tried so hard, so many different ways to find this quarterback. Now they finally feel like they've got a guy in Bo Nix here who, has a lot of different kind of skills. Maybe he doesn't have like the insanely strong arm, but they feel like he's got some athleticism using his legs. They feel like he's really accurate. They feel like he's really smart. And the first couple of weeks there against Seattle and Pittsburgh, people were starting to maybe have a little bit of doubt, saying, "Oh, maybe this guy isn't quite the same guy we saw in the preseason for sure. Maybe he isn't this franchise guy." But then last week, he looked like a totally different quarterback. Sean Payton put him in a lot of different situations, let him use that athleticism, and they went out and really whooped up on Tampa Bay. So this is going to be a good test for Bo Nix and the Broncos, just to see, like, okay, was last week just a little bit of a fluke, or hey, were the first 2 weeks they were just playing a couple of really, really good defenses?
I'm curious for the draft process because Bo Nix ended up being the sixth quarterback taken inside the top 12. There was, of course, Caleb
Crazy.
Williams. And yeah, I know. And still, even now, my brain can't quite, believe that it actually happened, that there were six quarterbacks in the first 12 picks of April's draft. Because sometimes we speculate. I go back to that Kenny Pickett draft, and I remember mock drafts. Oh boy, there's going to be 3-4 guys going to the first round, and it ended up only being Kenny Pickett. So I'm going to be honest, heading into this draft, I'm like, I'm not falling for this time. Nice try, NFL. It's not going to be that many. And then, like I said, by the time the 12th pick came around, there were six of those guys in the first round. Where was Bo Nix in the mix? Because obviously Denver was still somewhat compromised draft pick wise, that they didn't have all the assets to move up to the top of the draft like some teams perhaps wanted to do. So they kind of had to stick and pick, and they ended up with Bo Nix. Did he just sort of fall into their laps, and this is a guy they really liked, or were they, the game of musical chairs happened? They're like, well, there's still one quarterback left. Okay, let's go and get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there were so many reports that came out after the draft that, hey, Bo Nix was their guy all along, that they really liked this guy's game, that they went to Eugene and had like a private workout with him, and they were like blown away by what he was able to do. Sean Payton had him get up on the whiteboard and like do all this, play design stuff, and was really impressed by Bo Nix. And, ever since the draft, people have just been saying, hey, Bo Nix is like a Sean Payton type of guy. Maybe he doesn't have some of the athletic attributes that like Caleb Williams has, or Jaden has, or somebody like that. But Bo Nix is the kind of guy that is going to have some success with a coach like Sean Payton. So people really like this marriage. They like the idea of these two together. And really, Sean Payton has like gone out of his way to really build up Bo Nix's confidence. After the first two losses, he instead of saying, hey, the rookie's got a lot to learn, we're going to have some growing pains. Instead of that, his messaging after those first two games was, hey, we've got to play better around Bo Nix. Some of our veterans really need to step up and help Bo. The running game needs to step up. Like these types of things was the messaging, I think, just to keep Bo Nix's confidence up. And then last week, he looked like a totally different quarterback. I think that there were some reports that maybe the Broncos were going to try and move up, and then it was like just Sean Payton trying to bait, some other teams to try and take a quarterback. But everything that we've heard coming from the Broncos is that they were all in on Bo Nix all along.
Yeah, I'm curious as I look at the numbers. One number that I'm like, whoa, okay, that kind of got me startled as I looked at it. The leading rusher for the Denver Broncos this year is Bo Nix, the quarterback. He's the guy that's leading them. That was surprising to me? Is it surprising to Denver Broncos people, or they knew with his mobility that was going to be a factor throughout his rookie season and beyond?
I think that's a combination of two things. Bo Nix is athletic, and he could really get out of the pocket and escape and then take off. But I also think that's more of like, hey, the Broncos running backs have really struggled to start the season here. Javonte Williams still like trying to figure out his way back from an ACL injury a couple of years ago. I think that Jaleel McLaughlin is like a speedy guy who can get out to the edge and have some success, but that hasn't really been there for the Broncos. So I think that's more of a factor of their running backs not really having the success that they were hoping to have early in the season, especially with a rookie quarterback. I think their hope was, hey, we're going to really establish a ground game here, and that's going to help Bo Nix out. That just has not been the case. And Bo has had to use his legs because this offensive line is a little bit shaky as well. Garrett Bowles, the left tackle, during the COVID season in 2020 was amazing. And it ended up being a Pro Bowler that year. And then now he's being a little handsy, a lot of holding penalties. On the other side, Mike McGlinchey went to IR last week. And so you've just had a lot of a shakeup along the offensive line. Lloyd Cushenberry, longtime center for the Broncos, no longer here. So the offensive line has gone through some ups and downs this year, and Bo Nix has really had to use his legs just to keep some of these plays alive.
And speaking of those legs, Bo Nix has had a couple of rushing scores this year, but I see that he's still seeking out his first passing touchdown of the season. He has 0 passing touchdowns, 4 picks. He's also been sacked 4 times. Has he been close on some of these passing scores, or it just really hasn't come to fruition through the first 3 weeks of the season?
I think he wished that he would have had a throwing touchdown by now. I think that 3 weeks into your career, you would have liked to have checked that box, but it just hasn't been there. Against the Steelers a couple of weeks ago, he had just an absolutely terrible interception in the red zone. And the Broncos, to be honest, like really don't have these electric pass catchers out there. Cortland Sutton is sort of like the guy that you hope to be a go-to wide receiver. He just hasn't had the numbers so far this year. I think he only has 12 catches on the season. So they don't have like that big number one star wide receiver that, hey, if you're in trouble, Bo just needs to look his way and throw it in that direction. They don't really have that guy. And so their offense has just been sort of a struggle this year, certainly those first 2 weeks. And so the opportunities just to score and have a throwing touchdown just haven't been there.
Yeah, because I remember a couple years ago when we were looking at the pass catchers for the Broncos of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, and I was like, oh wow, look, they have like it's overflowing the amount of options that this Broncos has, and I guess the world spins pretty quick. Like the leading receiver for the Broncos this year is Josh Reynolds. He's the guy that's kind of apparently has emerged along with Sutton as guys who have over 100 receiving yards so far this season. What went into that decision to just start, jettisoning guys left and right with the Jerry Jeudy trade? Tim Patrick obviously shakes free too. He unfortunately had all those injuries. So what was kind of the thought process in the remaking of this wide receiver room?
Yeah, Tim Patrick obviously had so many injuries that he was working his way back and looked okay during the preseason, but I think the Broncos felt like he wasn't quite all the way there. He was sort of like that mental leader in that wide receiver room too. Like he's definitely the guy who had that chip on his shoulder, could bring a little bit of edge. So yeah, they let him go. Jerry Jeudy, he's a guy who had been so highly touted coming in as a first round pick. I think he was a 15th overall pick the year he came out, and he just never quite materialized to live up to the hype here in Denver. And the fan base was really getting on him. He had these ups and downs, and so much so that he was asking to be traded. And the Broncos went ahead and pulled that trigger this offseason, moved him to Cleveland. He got a new deal there with the Browns. So he's sort of hoping that his career can kind of hit the restart button a little bit there in Cleveland. But it's left the Broncos with a sort of this void, certainly in terms of playmakers that could help Bo Nix out. I think that they're hoping that Marvin Mims, the rookie the second-year player from Oklahoma, he really showed some spark last year, especially as a burner, like a deep play kind of guy. And for whatever reason, he just hasn't had that success so far this second year. Maybe some sort of a sophomore slump, but the Broncos really need him to kind of get going because outside of him, they don't really have that burner type of guy, the guy who can really make a defense have to play honest. Outside of him, they've got these bigger type wide receivers that are more like a possession kind of. They don't really strike fear in a defense. Like, hey, any play here, they're going to just blow the top off this thing. Sutton is capable of doing that, but it's not really a strength in his game. So that is an area that the Broncos are really. They've got to figure out how to build and acquire some talent, especially in some of these pass catching areas. The one thing I've heard is that Sean Payton, he likes to acquire talent along the offensive line and in areas where you can't really coach up. Sometimes if you got a great offensive line and they just got that athletic ability. I've heard that he likes to find some of these these hidden gems. He likes to uncover these guys and coach them up, and have them be on the outside. These playmakers. He likes to coach those guys up, and then he likes to acquire talent with the big guys up front.
And speaking of Sean Payton, obviously his legend will live forever in New Orleans, winning the Super Bowl, the Hurricane Katrina. And by the way, I know we have a lot of Florida viewers and listeners to see you guys in comments. Hopefully you guys are okay with the hurricane coming through. So make sure you guys stay safe. But with on the Sean Payton front, there was Sean Payton, one of the greatest offensive play callers of all time, and the Super Bowl and all that jazz. So there's a lot of hubbub, a lot of hype heading into Denver. Has he lived up to the billing? And I'm not even thinking about, obviously, I guess wins and losses haven't been there yet, but just Sean Payton, the guy who's supposed to be this offensive wizard coming in, has he lived up to some of that coming in?
It's been a little bit of an interesting tenure so far. I think that last year it was all about, okay, can he come in here and resurrect Russell Wilson's career? Mm-hmm. That was sort of the whole theme of last year. And the two of them just never materialized with those two guys. I think that Sean Payton, the way that he likes to run his offense is to have an accurate, on-time quarterback who's going to do 1, 2, 3, boom, the ball is out. He's going to be able to deliver the ball in the middle of the field. Some of these in the seam type of routes is such a hallmark of his offense. He wants a guy who can deliver that pass on time. That's not Russell Wilson's game. Russell Wilson likes to dance around in the backfield and hit the long, miracle play, where you're like, how did he do that? That's Russell Wilson's game. Russell Wilson, not quite tall enough to deliver those passes over the middle of the field. And you would think, okay, Drew Brees, not that tall of a guy, but
Right.
Drew Brees could deliver those balls over the middle of the field. Russell Wilson, that's not part of his game. So right off the bat, the two of them never really hit it off. And then at the end of last year, you saw some of those frustrations boil over on the sideline, the two of them getting into it a little bit. So that was a great marriage. And so the Broncos obviously moving on from Russell Wilson, paying him a ton of money not to play for them this year. And so that's sort of like, in a weird way, just sort of washed away all of last season. And you don't even so much of whatever Sean Payton is here in Denver is going to be tied to whatever he does with Bo Nix now. So the two of them are tied at the hip. If he has success, then this tenure in Denver is going to be a success for Sean Payton. If Bo Nix doesn't materialize, then that's ultimately going to be, sort of that stain on his tenure here in Denver. So the two of them, they're in bed together now, and whatever happens, it's going to be the two of them together.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, we're speaking of Phil Milani, baby, former member of the Broncos and also now the host of Broncos and Bourbon. I said that is a ripe combo, baby.
Hey,
yeah.
The way
sure.
the Broncos are playing so far, it's a good combination.
Unfortunately, yeah, that has certainly been the case thus far. But let's get into this. One of the primo matchups, Saleh, head coach Robert Saleh of the Jets was talking about yesterday. Was like, man, we got two superstars and Patrick Surtain, PS2, and Sauce Gardner. So, Phil, obviously, I have to ask you the question: who is the best corner in football, and why is it Sauce Gardner?
That's a good question. I like the way you framed that. Surtain, man, he made his money this offseason. I think that Sauce even said, hey, congrats. I mean, these guys, they like to see each other's paychecks go up and up and up and up here. Of course, Jalen Ramsey got the big bump right after that. Man, I think that they're both special players. I think that the thing that you like about Surtain is his size. Guys that are his size really don't move the way that Surtain moves. This guy can flip his hips. He's so smooth out there. He sort of like floats on the grass a little bit is the way that I describe it. And, some of these cornerbacks that have come through Denver in the past, part of the no-fly zone, Champ Bailey before, they've all really spoken so highly of Surtain, and they really like his game. They they describe him sort of as a technician out there, that he's just really fundamentally sound. And I think that he gets a little bit of that from his dad, Patrick Surtain, a longtime NFL cornerback for the Dolphins and Chiefs. He coached him in high school at American Heritage down there in the Fort Lauderdale area. So, Surtain has just sort of been groomed ever since he was a kid to be an NFL superstar. Went to Alabama, was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, came out after 3 years, and he's really lived up to all the expectations. He's sort of everything that the Broncos want him to be. The interesting thing, when he was drafted, Justin Fields was still available, and the Broncos were really quarterback needy. So he faced a little bit of criticism there, like, hey, you're not a quarterback, I can't believe the Broncos took you. But he's lived up to those expectations. And then the other thing is that Micah Parsons was still available, and the Broncos went with PS2, but he's lived up to the expectations. I think that if you could knock him for anything, is that he doesn't tend to bait quarterbacks so much. He doesn't like to take a risk, and as such, he doesn't really make those big game-changing type of plays. His interception numbers aren't going to really impress everybody. He's more of that shutdown guy. He's going to take away half the field. You're just going to put him up against the number one wide receiver on the other side, and that it's going to be a long day for that guy. But he's not making these huge big picks in these crucial situations. He's not baiting quarterbacks. But I'm really interested to see if Aaron Rodgers tests him. Hey, like he's Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to shy away from anybody. So maybe there might be an opportunity when you play a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to shy away. Maybe you could get a pick playing against somebody like that. Like when the Broncos go up against Mahomes, PS2, he's had a little bit of success there just because some of these upper echelon type of quarterbacks, they're not going to shy away. But the majority of the league, they're just like not going to test him that much. I think that he's given up like 2 or 3 receptions every single week so far. So
is he PS2 Island where it's, hey, you pick whatever receiver and that's it, and there's no help over there? Because Garrett Wilson, a very talented receiver, has had a lot of struggles, and not only has there been a really good corner on him through the first couple of weeks of the season, but they've also shaded a safety over. So on top of having the best corner, there's also been bracketed coverage almost every time that Garrett Wilson's been on the field. I'm curious because maybe that, even with PS2's a legend continuing to grow, if it is truly one-on-one, maybe Rodgers gets a little saucy and says, okay, well,
yeah.
PS2 is really good, but at least it's one-on-one. That's better than we've seen through the first couple of weeks of the season. Maybe I'll try it a little. Do they help him at all, or is it all island stuff?
A lot of island stuff. The first couple of years of Pat's career, he was staying on one side of the field. This year so far, Vance Joseph has been using him where he's really moved around quite a bit. And so, I expect him to be on Garrett a lot and follow him around. The other thing that Vance Joseph really likes to do is bring blitzes from different areas. And so he likes to bring an extra guy to get after the quarterback a little bit. And that creates these one-on-one matchups where you're going to live and die just based off of what Pat's able to do. It's pretty much solo out there. So I do expect him to just be one-on-one and say, hey, the Broncos are going to live and die with whatever happens there. They're going to trust their best player. He's really the best player on the entire team for them. So he's their one true superstar. So I think that you got to just say, hey, whatever happens here, we're going to live and die with what Pat's able to do out there.
Phil, in the national media, there was a lot of trade rumors about PS2 and flipping him for a bounty of picks. Was that all just nonsense? No, because I'm sure a lot of it's quieted now that he's gotten his contract here with Denver. But was that real stuff? Was that all noise? Was that all nonsense? What's the truth?
I don't think so. I think that they were happy with where they were in the draft, and I don't think that. Look, like I think that this Broncos team is void of talent in a lot of different areas. Like just in general, their level of talent across the board needs to improve. And that's what happens when you make a big trade for Russell Wilson,
right?
And you don't have these draft assets for a few years. You just don't have like those first round picks where you're able to really fill in your roster. And I think that if maybe a team were to have presented the Broncos with just a really insane deal that gave them an opportunity to raise the level of their roster across the board and really set them up for success long term, maybe they would have listened to something like that. But they really love Pat. He's great in the community. He's great off the field. He's good in the locker room. They love everything about this guy. So it wasn't like he was, spouting off upset that the Broncos haven't had the success, or, he hasn't been a problem in any area. So they really love the guy that Surtain is. He's the kind of player that you want to build your team and around. And I think that ultimately you're just like, look, isn't the point of this to get guys like Pat, not trade them away, and right. Hope that you hit, you've got the real deal here. Let's build around Pat. And I think that maybe if something insane were to have been presented, they would have listened, but I think they would have had to have listened, but I don't think that there was ever any real, teeth to that story.
What about the rest of the defense? We know PS2 is pretty good. How's the rest of the unit?
Well, Alex Singleton, like sort of their big linebacker. Maybe he's not a household name. He's not like that Pro Bowl type of guy. But for the Broncos, at least, he's the guy who plays every single snap. he's the guy who's like never off the field. He's making, 130 plus tackles every single year. Yesterday they announced that he's headed to IR, tore his ACL against the Bucks, and finished the game. He didn't know that he got hurt.
Wow.
And he actually got hurt on an interception play where, hey, you're changing direction and then you're looking to become a blocker. Sometimes these defenders get hurt on those type of plays. And he got hurt, didn't know it, finished out the game. And then, hey, later in the week, you find out that your season is done. So that is absolutely crushing for this Broncos team. This last offseason, the Broncos got rid of Justin Simmons. They got rid of Josie Jewell. They lost a couple of guys there that are just leaders on that defense. And they were hoping that they were going to be able to get by because of a guy like Alex Singleton. And now that they lose him, they got all kinds of question marks now, in my opinion, on that defense, where your sure tackler all of a sudden is gone. So you're like, okay, what the heck are they going to do? To be honest with you, I thought that this defense was really going to struggle this year. And to everybody's surprise, they've been actually quite good. And a lot of that credit, I think, goes to Vance Joseph. But now that he's losing Alex Singleton, you've just got some big time question marks. Certainly at the middle of the field there, where so much is going on. There's so much traffic. I really think that Aaron Rodgers is going to attack the middle of the field here, and that's going to be a huge loss for the Broncos. I mentioned that the whole roster really just doesn't have that talent level. One of the things the Broncos can't afford is a lot of injuries, because not only were their starters not like this upper echelon household name type of guys, their backups, their quality of depth, just not quite there. And you saw the Broncos immediately go out and try and find like a veteran guy who can try and maybe fill that gap. They brought in Quan Alexander and Zach Cunningham yesterday. So you're talking about guys who've bounced around the league a little bit these last few years, hoping that maybe one of them still has a little bit of something left in the tank that they could come in here, because I do think that this is just a devastating loss for the Broncos defense.
All right, let's finish off with a couple here. First off, Jet fans are curious, how was Zach Wilson received when he entered the room via trade earlier this
This is the Zach
offseason?
Wilson game, right? What are we talking about here?
That's right. How'd we wait this long?
I think that he's trying to hit reset on his career. I think that they're just sort of saying, hey, let's see what this guy's got. Maybe he could be serviceable at some point. They decided to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. The first 3 weeks here, he's been that guy who's inactive but reserved, like emergency quarterback.
Right.
And I think that actually, I heard Adam Schefter even mention this week that, hey, maybe he could be a trade potential kind of guy for a situation like maybe in Miami, or if you see a quarterback go down somewhere. I think having a guy who has some game experience under their belt, it's always good having a guy like that on your roster. So, the Broncos had this quarterback competition this offseason between Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and Zach Wilson. And Bo ended up winning that. Jarrett is technically their backup, but I think that they really liked what they saw from Zach Wilson. In that third preseason game, he really went out and showed that, maybe there is something still left there. And, for some guys, a change of scenery, maybe where you don't have that pressure on you that, hey, you came in and you're supposed to be a franchise guy here. You're supposed to turn things around. You don't have that pressure. Maybe just a little bit of a change of scenery could be good for a guy. And, maybe he could be a trade type of candidate for the Broncos. So.
Before we get you out of here, Broncos and Bourbon, give us the plug, give us the promotion, what it's all about, baby.
The idea is to talk to former Broncos players every single week. We got new episodes every Friday. And then at the end of the show, we could do a little nightcap of sorts, do a bourbon review. I feel like a lot of the fan base is sort of in that zone where, hey, they enjoy a bourbon. They're in that age range. And then so I thought, hey, there's a million different kinds of Broncos podcasts out there. Why don't I use this to something I like? and make this a little bit interesting. But the majority of the show is, hey, let me get one of my buddies who used to play for the Broncos, have them come on and just talk ball. That's sort of the essence of the show. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'll tell you what, I'm trying to be like you, Paul. I'm trying to
Hey,
be entertaining. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to be a little edgy here, ask some hard questions. So I had Jake Plummer on
nice.
last week. He had some really good insight on Bo Nix. The week before that, I had Chris Harris Jr. on. The
Mm.
first week, I had Nick Ferguson. So some guys that the Denver fan base knows. And yeah, I've just been having a blast doing it. And I've been studying your ways here. So I got to get some good notes here. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, I love that. And Phil, you're getting the flexing on. I love that. You're dropping the guess. Booyah! That's it. Hey, the juice, the arrow is in the right direction, my friend. And I love it. And I always love our chats. I love that. However, the scheduling gods have made it that we're playing every year, so we get to keep our conversations going. It's a lot of fun, Phil. So rooting for you. I love the show, and I hope others check it out as well. Whether you're a Broncos fan or not, listening on here, it's great quality content. So Phil, thank you so much, man.
Paul, thank you very much. Let's get a prediction. What do you think for this Sunday? Let me know. What's your insight? Like, have I heard Sean Payton this week say, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers is starting to look like the guy we all remember." So, what's the feeling like there? What do you think?
Yeah, because like I said, when you look at the Broncos, you see 1 and 2, and you look at some of these select stats, you're like, oh boy, how good is this team? But then again, I repeat that two of those losses are these undefeated teams, and then the one win was a blowout fashion in Tampa, which certainly caught eyebrows. And I think the Jets appreciate, not that I think they would have overlooked it anyway, because I think that Aaron Rodgers Hackett thing, Sean Payton thing last year, I don't think
Yes.
I don't think he's got short-term memory loss. I think he still has that one on the bulletin board this week, and I think that's going to be plenty of motivation enough. But on top of that, the Broncos showing in Tampa certainly caught the Jets' attention, and Saleh said it. They're not sleeping on the Broncos in this building. So, Phil, I hope it's close for the fans that are watching sake, but my gut says we might get another close to week 3 New England Patriots contest where it is uncomfortable for Bo Nix. The Jets flexed the blitz last week, which is something they normally don't do. Last year in the NFL, they were last in blitz percentage on third down, last in the league with lowest percentage. And then last week, we saw the highest blitz percentage in the Robert Saleh era. I think that's a sneak peek that they're going to use in certain matchups. And I would imagine this is another one where they really want to flex those creative blitzing muscles. So I'm a little fearful for Denver of a potential barn door blowout here. Like I said, I
Oh,
hope
okay.
not for the fans, but that's my gut right now is that it is a multi-score victory for the New York Jets.
It does feel like the Bucks maybe were sleeping on the Broncos a little bit. They let Bo do some things that maybe I didn't think that Bucks defense was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the blitz there. I think that's the key. Keep Bo Nix in the pocket there, make his life uncomfortable, make him make some quick decisions, maybe force him into some mistakes. I think that should be the game plan. And I agree with you. I think that this Jets team is sort of uh, worked out some of the kinks the first couple of weeks, and then now is looking like maybe that AFC contender that we all thought that they could be. So I'm sort of in the same boat as you.
The path I would say though is if I'm the Broncos, I'm starting that week 2 game because Will Levis was incredibly squirrely when the Jets had a lack of gap responsibility and gap integrity. Will Levis squeaked out and got 15, 20, 30-yard runs, and then when it seemed like it was a negative play, he turned it into a positive. So Bo Nix, who I think is an underrated rusher, like people don't give him enough credit for his ability to run the football. I think that's the key. He starts breaking contain like that because if the Jets do these zero blitzes, all the corners and linebackers, they're man on man. They're looking the other way. They're not looking at the quarterback. Those could be gash runs for Bo Nix. And so I'd be studying week 1 and week 2 if I was Denver to see the run lanes that San Francisco was creating. And then week 2, the quarterback scrambles, which got out of hand against Will Levis. To me, that's the sauce if I'm Denver that I want to go into the Jets building and make some noise. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that like 2-2 coming out of this game versus 1-3, it's like a world of difference. You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
Like if you're at 2-2, you feel like all right, we're back in the mix here. If you're at 1-3, you're like, you got to look in the mirror a little bit. So it's a big game for sure. And yeah, I could see that happening where, maybe a few gasher plays, but ultimately, I think if you force Bo Nix to have to throw the ball down the field, that just is a little bit difficult. And especially early in the game, if that's the other thing the Broncos did last week was they took the ball, they won the coin toss, took the ball, drove right down the field, scored a touchdown. That helped Bo tremendously. Like he had that confidence. Early in the game, I'm interested to just see, okay, what's the tone here today? If it's a 3 and out, hey, this could be a long day. If they have some success, maybe just get some points in any fashion. Okay, now maybe we're in for a good game here. So the beginning of this game, I think, will let us know a lot.
No doubt about it. And the chutzpah of doing that inside Tampa Bay in hostile territory, I'm sure that calmed down the youngster that is Bo Nix. And I would just say this as we're heading out of here, I'm peeking ahead on this Denver schedule. If they were to upset the Jets, they got Vegas, they got the LA Chargers, the Saints, obviously, came back down to earth this past week. If Carolina, there seems to be some juices, again, to your point of 1-3 versus 2-2, the moxie of a team heading into that stretch. Broncos would have a chance to gain a lot of confidence here. So you never know. Football's crazy. This first 3 weeks of the NFL season has been absolutely wild, but it could be a lot of fun. Phil, thanks for taking the time, brother. We got to do this again soon, and we'll definitely be checking out Broncos and Bourbon, my friend.
Thank you very much for the plug. And hey, I'm sure that Broncos and Jets next year will do the same thing.
That's right. Let's put it in the books. Love it. Phil, baby, have a great day and enjoy the game on Sunday.
Thank you very much. You too, Paul.
There he is, Phil Milani, baby. Worked for the Denver Broncos, now does his own thing. I highly recommend checking out the podcast. I've known Phil for a long time. I got to meet at the Hall of Fame, which was a lot of fun, too. If we had more time, we dive into that as well. I'll stay on and continue to take your questions and calls and things of that nature. So, guys, feel free to continue to send those in. We'll play a quick video here, and then we will get, of course, all of your thoughts on the Jets-Broncos game. Thanks.
Boy Green daily, boy Green daily. Like daily, talking just football, man. Boy Green daily, boy Green daily, boy Green daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Boy Green daily. Fucking daily. You're talking Jets football, man. Boy Green daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets.
Shout out to Hep, baby. And yes, thank you to Phil Milani for joining us live here on the show. That was amazing. I love Phil. We've gotten to work together a lot. Like I said, he worked for the Denver Broncos, their team, for a lot of years, and now he broke away this offseason, is able to do his own thing, and to his point, stretch the wings and go out and about, which is terrific. Shout out to the 400 people that are in the room right now. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We'll have another Broncos Insider, a different one. John Heath, he'll be joining us coming up at 3 o'clock with James Woody. So more Jets Broncos coverage will be coming. The phone lines are now open. That is the pinned comment on YouTube, youtube.com/boygreen25. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, hop on over to YouTube. That's the best place to enjoy the wonderful show. Like the video, hit subscribe, and of course, join the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. There's just $2.99 a month to become a member of the YouTube channel and flip the switch. 43 members away from old Johnny Boy here on the show. As we await some callers to call into the show, I'll just say this for the Denver game. And it's cool that we got to do a little back and forth conversation with Phil there at the end. But yeah, I'm very confident going into this Denver Broncos game. And I was honest with Phil. I am, for the people that are there that are Broncos fans, I hope for their sake it's close. But to be honest, I think this is going to be a blowout win for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, we've seen him before. A motivated Aaron Rodgers is a very different Aaron Rodgers. And he was already obviously coming off a really good game against New England. And he had no bad blood with New England. Jet fans did because we hate New England, but Aaron Rodgers didn't. So, when there's bad blood with this Denver thing, what Sean Payton said, I think, again, I will predict it again. It'll be my bold prediction when we're putting up our predictions and things of that nature. I think Aaron Rodgers is going for the Brett Favre game. If you remember the 2008 season, I know I'm dating myself here, but if you remember the 2008 season, Brett Favre had 6 touchdown passes against the Arizona Cardinals and went buck wild. And I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to have his buck wild game where we're going absolutely bananas for what he's going to do to the Denver Broncos. He's ultra motivated, and this team is incredibly susceptible. So, Terrence Hill just said it. The Broncos, or here it is, the Broncos have no chance on Sunday. Another we want blood game. It certainly feels that way from that perspective. So that's my honest take. That is my honest take that I do believe ultimately the Jets blow the barn doors off the Broncos Sunday 1 o'clock game. And then the races are on, man. We got Vikings in London. We got Buffalo Bills Monday Night Football. We got Steelers Sunday Night Football. And then you have that other New England Patriots game. This next stretch is going to be pivotal, quite frankly, and where the Jets end up finishing this season. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And thank goodness this game is in MetLife Stadium as opposed to in Denver. I don't want to be sacrificing Elijah Vera Tucker to the football gods. Thank you very much. I think we've done more than enough. With that being said, let's jump over to the phone line. We got Johnny Boy here on the program. What's up, Johnny?
Boy, Green, what's going on, brother? How you holding up this morning?
Excellent, my friend. Excellent. Yeah, I'm fired up.
Awesome dude bringing them on, man. So, but let's keep it honest, bro. I mean, if we do not beat the living bricks off of the damn Denver Broncos, if we don't beat, what are those things called? The stuff that they wear underneath the hoofs or whatever it is.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on my horseology here or equestrian knowledge. But no, under the hoof, you said.
Yeah,
or like
whatever.
The horseshoe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there you go. The horseshoe.
Oh, a horseshoe.
If we don't beat the living horseshoes off of all them Broncos, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. Because again, we should be beating them. I wanted to come up here real quick and say we're whooping their ass, and that's it. And that's the bottom line, baby. Stone Cold says so. And major shout out to all the people out in Florida, man. What's going on over there?
Yes.
Tim from Fishland, Ted from Florida.
Got Ricky down there.
Ricky.
I mean, we got a lot of FL Phil 98. We got a lot of people down there. So
and
again,
then, Unk is out there as
well. Of
well.
course, right? Yes.
Ted, our guy Ted and whatnot. So I just want to come up here real quick and
no doubt.
We're thinking about you guys and hold the stuff down, and you know what I mean. Definitely, guys are in our prayers and everything as well, and we're going to beat the living crap out of the Broncos. That's it. I mean, I don't think there's much to it. I don't think we need to game plan for a team like that because we should beat them. And
Terrence is down there too, apparently. Terrence,
Miami cat.
Shout out to Terrence. Yes, there you go.
So, I just wanted to come up here real quick and hey, we're thinking about you guys as well.
Damn
so,
great.
And BG, I appreciate you, bro. Keep doing your thing, man. Because we being the living horseshoes out of them Broncos. Jets, baby. Jets.
There he is. I'm not sure the science of the horseshoe or the up a butcher's ass or the Tommy Boy reference, but I'm sure that was sort of close, probably. I don't know. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Hep Baby here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, you know what? It's really exciting seeing this team find its identity. We kind of saw what the defense did, but even the defense is showing some new wrinkles with this blitzing package, and it's really we're really becoming a different team this year. We have a lot of the same core as far as the defense is concerned, but the offense is we're really finding who we are, and the players really dictate to you who you're going to be and the talent that they bring to the table.
It's exciting.
Yeah, so it's really exciting with the two big backs and the receivers. And when Devontae comes into the building, they might as well just give us the trophy right then.
That's it, baby. And I can't believe the Jets last year were last in third down offensive converting percentage, right? Like every third down, they blew it. This year, they're number one in the NFL, like a 55% conversion rate. That's like sick. I'm pinching myself every day. Like, I'm not taking anything for granted. All of this, I'm smelling the roses every morning going, holy friggin' crap. Look at everything we got going on here. So it's thrilling, man.
Yeah. And I just want to say a shout out to Ricky. My heart goes out to you, bud. And we're all thinking about you over here, bud. All right.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Love you guys. See you later.
Thanks, Hep. Appreciate it. And well said, Ricky, not just for obviously the hurricane stuff that's going on down there, but obviously I've seen him in the comments a few times where we're thinking about you, buddy. There's really nothing, there's no perfect thing to say with what you're dealing with, man, but just know that we are there for you and we're thinking about you for what that's worth, man. 100%. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We've got Dre Broncos Killer.
How you doing, my brother Paul? Good to meet you at the last home opener. It's great seeing you. Great guy coming on your show. This is like one of my first times actually catching you live in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my way to work.
Yeah, man.
Listen,
I appreciate it.
I was feeling some type of way when he was picking Patrick Surtain over my boy Sauce. I love the way you phrased that question. You were like, "Oh yeah, why is it Sauce Gardner?" Why? And then he names all the things that Surtain does, and I'm like, "Sauce does all of those things. What are you talking about?"
100%.
So
but I get it.
I'm
Broncos guy defending Broncos guy. I get it.
Decimation. Like, I mean, I think honestly, I have a side bet with another Jet fan from a different show about how this is Garrett Wilson's coming out party. I know Surtain's a great corner, but Garrett goes up against Sauce every day in practice. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's going to get Surtain's number, I think it's going to be now I have a personal stake in the matter because I personally feel that Garrett Wilson was going to score 28 touchdowns in this year. And so I'm a little crazy with that. And so I'm known for having my crazy Garrett Wilson takes, and people call me off the wall. Mm-hmm. But Garrett is just different, you know? So I really believe that this is going to be like Aaron doesn't forget things. Aaron doesn't let things go. And I think this is going to be where we see scorched earth Aaron Rodgers. And I think he's going to have a point to prove about what, you know, about Garrett Wilson being him. And they're going to scheme him open. They're going to put Garrett in the slot. And, I mean, Surtain can be a fantastic cornerback, but it doesn't matter because Garrett plus Aaron is always going to be the equalizer. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think Garrett goes over 100 yards. I think it's going to be a 5-score game, and it's going to be something like 35-3. It's going to be pure joy. Jet fans are not going to know what to do. I've noticed that a lot of Jet fans were used to being negative, and those negative Jet fans don't know what to do now because everything seems to be clicking, and they're just quiet. They don't know what to do. Here's my advice. Enjoy it. We have never had a team this good. I have been watching this team since the Ken O'Brien days. The Jets have never had a team this good, and I could not be happier about it. This is going to be glorious. My brother-in-law's a Broncos fan, too.
I'm sorry to hear that.
To torture me because he was a Yankee fan that hated the Mets worse than the Red Sox. Wow. So he was like torturing me when I was 11 years old in '86 when the Mets won the World Series against the Red Sox. And he was a Yankees fan that was cheering the Red Sox. I didn't even understand how much of a sacrilege that was because I will never, ever root for the Patriots ever in my lifetime. Yeah. So all I can say is, you know, it's not fun anymore when the rabbit has the gun. That's us. Just enjoy it. And let's go. Jets, 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 Jets.
Dre, before you get out of here, I just got to say you're very popular in the chat.
I'm sorry, say that again. Boy,
yeah. That's okay. I'm saying you're quite popular in the chat, Dre, as soon as you've come up on the show here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not. The audio just cut out.
Okay.
I could see you talking, but I can't hear you. I'm going to hop off.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to it on YouTube because YouTube comes through the Bluetooth. I don't know what's happening with StreamYard, but I apologize.
That's okay, Dre. We got you. But I was just saying you're popular in the chat. Shout out to Dre, Dave Briga saying Dre, Hennessy Heisman screaming Dre, Terrence Hill screaming Dre, K-Brock Dre. It's drizzling Dre's all over the place. Dre's are drizzling from the sky. Everyone loves Dre. Dre, thanks for popping the cherry. Coming on over here. It was wonderful to meet you at the Jets Patriots home opener. It was terrific. So, Dre, thanks for taking the time. So I don't know what's happening with StreamYard, but nonetheless, appreciate you. Booyah. Yeah, that's right, Jeremy. I should have done hand signals like baseball. Look. Whatever that means. I don't know what that converts to, but I'll allow the hand signal people to figure that part out. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got a couple of callers. Brandon L. joining us here on the show. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, Paul. Hey, Boy Green. Huge fan, man. Thanks for all the great Jets content early in the morning.
Thanks, brother.
Really,
nice
really
Jets polo there. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Over in Tampa, appreciate all the love for the Hurricane. It's not
yeah.
Here. I hope everyone in the Panhandle up by Tallahassee and up north does well with this going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're thinking about you guys. But thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge fan. Been a fan since the mid-'90s and can't wait to just let Sean Payton have it for all the crap he talked last year. This is going to be the year that ABT doesn't get hurt, knock on wood, against the Broncos. Going to be in New York. Mm-hmm. And hopefully by the fourth quarter, we'll see Zach Wilson be able to tear him up. No Diddy. But I'm excited, man. I think this is our year. Aaron Rodgers is going to show us a different side this week where he's pissed, and I'm really excited for it, man. Go Jets. Thanks for the great content.
Brandon, thanks for calling in, brother. And yeah, again, the content is only as good as the fans that listen, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great to see Brandon. And when he had in his lower headline, reporting live from Tampa, I almost went news style. All right, let's go to Brandon live on the scene. Brandon? Man, he's just like, it's going to rain, Paul. All right. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, it does. I could hear the rain. Oh, man, the weather is coming in. There's no doubt about it. So, but in all seriousness, we are thinking about all you guys. So stay safe and let's enjoy a Jets ass kicking of the Denver Broncos on Sunday, which should be great. I mean, Dre said it 35-3. I was trying to be respectful of our guests, but that's the waters I'm swimming in for this game. I am completely overlooking Denver. Bo Nix does not have a passing touchdown. His current touchdown reception ratio is 0 passing touchdowns, 4 picks. And you have a youngster coming in against this Jets defense. Again, they are going to show this young quarterback things that he has never seen in his life is what Jeff Ulbrich is going to be cooking up for Bo Nix. That's the God-honest truth. And their leading rusher is Bo Nix. And again, you could look at that as a positive. Wow, he's got some wheels, and that's true. But their second leading rusher after old Bo Nix isn't even their quote unquote star running back, Javonte Williams. It's some guy named Tyler Beatty. He's their leading rusher, not named Bo Nix. Javonte Williams has struggled. He's averaging 2.2 yards per carry. Jaleel McLaughlin, he's averaging 2.2 yards per carry. So the run game's struggling. You heard Phil Milani talk about the issues on the offensive line. That doesn't sound like that's magically going to get fixed against the New York Jets. So I think there might be some issues. So, Brandon, awesome. It's good to connect you to your logo, Brandon, to have you on the show, Brandon. So great to have you call in the show, man. Feel free to call in anytime. We appreciate you, brother. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got a lot of callers. We'll get to all of you guys. Let's go to Big Green here on the car. What's up, Big Green?
It ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun.
That was so funny. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I just load the box up against Bo Nix, give him the Zach Wilson treatment.
Damn straight.
That's what I would do.
That's the right plan. Yeah.
You putting Brandon Allen in your fantasy league, Paul? I'm going to start him in Brees.
Well, yeah, thankfully, in all of my drafts, outside of one of them, because it has too many Jet fans in it, so they all knew about Braylon. But in every other draft, like my final pick or final picks, was I stood up in the room and said Braylon Allen, and people kind of gave me a weird look like, Jet fan, nice pick, loser. And then I'm like, okay. And then he's just been stashed on the bench. So I've had Braylon Allen in basically every league that I'm in. I'm feeling pretty dang good. Yeah, I didn't get Brees a lot. He was drafted too high for me in almost every league I was in, unfortunately. But Braylon, not a bad consolation. Well, goodbye, Big Green. I appreciate it. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. He must have just dropped out with technical difficulties, but that's fine. Let's go to the next caller. We got KO here on the show. What's up, KO?
Good morning, Paul. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, but I want to piggyback off what what Dre was saying. We definitely have to be happy with the progression in this team and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers definitely looking like the Aaron Rodgers of old. He's looking like the MVP Rodgers. Getting out the pocket, making the throws on the run, extending plays. That's Aaron Rodgers that we know. And stats that show when he has a top 5 defense, he's like 32-2. So if with our defense, getting takeaways, and big time stops, giving him the ball, playing a field position game, that give us a real high chance of winning any game, I believe. And as far as our corners, as far as sourcing PS2, I love PS2 now. I watch PS2 play from college to now. But I'll take Sauce every time. I would take Sauce every time. That's not even just being a bias, he's just a Jets fan. No, I'm a fan of the game before anything. And Sauce he's the guy that you want on your team. Sauce had that dog to him as a rookie. This is not just something new. Like this been Sauce all even in college. Remember, he haven't let up a touchdown in 4 years. So and I think it's going to be a breakout game for the Brees Halls.
Great.
Especially Garrett Wilson. I can see Tyler Conklin, and I can see it being at least 28-7, and they get a late score in the fourth quarter. I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to play, but
probably not. But maybe I guess. But
yeah, but if Bo Nix is the guy, I definitely see Wilmy down getting at least 2 to 3 sacks. Getting to a quarterback, I definitely see a sack party. With the D line. Look for Ken Law. Look for all them guys to fly around, man. And remember, Quincy Williams. If we listen, I can see him getting a big time sack.
Hey, we saw it last year. That was in the Broncos game where he had that blitz and strip sack Russell Wilson.
Yeah, man. So I definitely see our D line teeing off big time, very big time, making life hard for the quarterback. And I'm glad the game is in Denver because I don't know what it is about AVT going out there, but season IR the past 2 years him playing in Denver, so it's good that
thank God
we get a game in MetLife in front of the fans, and our defense teeing off, going crazy, having the stands go crazy, and it's something that it's been a long time coming. I can't remember the last time we were 2-1 going on.
2015 was the last time we were 2-1. It's been a long time.
See, and
almost 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a long time, And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the year we had Decker and
that's
B.
correct.
March. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. We were 10-6 that year.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm mad that we didn't make the playoffs that year at 10-6, but hey,
yeah, me too.
New year, new day, and
damn straight.
I feel that we can really be a special team, and honestly, we just really coming into our stride. We haven't hit anything yet. So that's the scary part about it. We just not hitting our stride. A-Rod's getting more comfortable. You can see that he's like mentally making hurdles from that Achilles more than anything, and that's the good part about it. And I feel that, if we could constantly hold up, the O-line is, starting to gel together. If we could hold up and be more consistent, as far as like the little things we shoot ourselves in the foot, we clean up some things, I think we can really be a force to be reckoned with. I think we would be a really hard team to beat, especially with our defense alone, because our defense will give us a chance against anybody. I don't care if it's Mahomes. Our defense gives us a chance against anybody. That's how much faith I got in our defense, because we got a very stout D line. Granted, the first game, whatever, but we actually cleaned up a lot ever since the first game against San Fran.
It feels it. By the way, KO, are you sick? A lot of the commenters are saying, "Hey, man, it sounds like KO's got a head cold. What's going on here?
No,
you sick or something?"
No, it's the morning.
Oh,
morning voice.
Yeah. You're just waking up. No, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I always have to make sure I catch the show, but
I appreciate that.
And another thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, remember that Rex Ryan run from 2009, 2010 when
Sure, good times.
we had the number one run game, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a very legit defense. I think that we can actually, if even if we're not the number one run game, cool.
Mm-hmm.
We top five because we have a great 1-2 punch with Braylon Allen and Brees, and you want to
Yeah.
sprinkle a little Izzy in there. And but our defense, I think we can really surprise a lot of
Oh, that'd be
people.
great. Pair that
Because
with
because
Rodgers. That's
I'm
pretty good.
looking the way I'm looking at it, honestly, everybody's beatable. Like it's not really oh it's the Chiefs this is or
Oh no, not at
Cincinnati
all for
that.
me. Not for
Yeah, like
me.
I think that we can really beat a lot of teams that people wouldn't think. 'Cause even though we should have beat KC last year, we got robbed that game big time. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to talk about that, but I
No,
think
me either. Yeah.
we really can be a dangerous team. We could be a very dangerous team, and we haven't even scratched the ceiling yet. That's the scary part about it. I'm like, wow, it's even with Will McDonald. Like I said, that guy constantly he made me eat my words. I was against the pick, but this guy's really a
He's
force to be
second in the
reckoned with.
NFL in sacks, for goodness sake. Yeah, he's killing
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. And he can mess around and be finished number one. If he had 5 sacks already, he could get 15 sacks, maybe more.
Yeah, do the whatever you call it, kind of
You do
pace
the
it
metrics,
out. If he
yeah.
has this many and this many games,
He
then
could he
shoot,
could
what could he get?
if he get at least three to 5 sacks, 3 to 4 sacks in every game, he could break that straight hand record easily.
Yeah, that
Easily.
that would create the greatest single season in NFL history that we've ever. That would put him at like 40
Like
sacks if we got 3 or 4 sacks every game. But
that would be ridiculous. If you get 2 or 3 sacks every game, that would be unbelievable.
yeah, let's do it. I hope so.
And
Yeah.
I'm really rooting for Will. Will really made me a believer. He's made me a believer. I always been big on the Sherwin bandwagon. I always like
Mhm.
Jamie and Sherwood. He flies around. He's physical downhill. Quincy Williams, we all already know.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And it's just like wow, like we really have some good young pieces in front of our faces, and and as Ulbrich, he mixed it in the blitzes and and things like that, and even with our undrafted guys, Leonard Taylor, McGregor, we have some good plays. We got some good young pieces who could rotate and make some noise. It's just a matter of getting reps and or whatever. I pray nobody gets hurt, but we have a very good cohesive defensive unit, and I like that. Yeah, and what he said, Will McDonald. I thought he was the bust, but the guy's improving and making all of us eat our words on the regular. Oh, he can't play the run. Oh, he's not that big, but the way he plays bigger than he is, and I like that. He plays much bigger than he is. I love that. I just wish Jermaine Johnson was out there, man. That's my guy. Love Jermaine Johnson. Great dude. I got a chance to meet him. It's
Oh,
unfortunate.
that's cool.
The injury. Unfortunate for his injury, but I just hope that we could get him back. Back on board and he come right in and leave where he left off at because he's a young upcoming superstar in this league.
He's at 100% an upcoming superstar. By the way, I did the math real quick. So right now, Will McDonald has 5 sacks. If we go by KO, saying he 2 to 3 sacks a game every game for the rest of them, well, we're 2-1. We're 3 games into the season, so there's 14 regular season games left. if we go by KO, there, Will McDonald still has another 28 to 42 sacks to get. He has 5 already. So he's going to finish this season with somewhere between 33 and 47 sacks. The record is 22 and a half. Well, if Will McDonald's got 33 to 47 sacks, good Lord have mercy. Maybe meant as a team. I'm not sure, but either way, wow. Okay. Sign me up. I didn't really think it was like, I'm like, geez, Will McDonald's a bust immediately. I didn't think about that when Will McDonald was drafted, but I was like, whoa, that's surprising. That's different. That's, it's not what I expected. I wanted JSN. I wanted Kalijah Cansey. I wanted a few other players, and they went that way. I'm like, okay, let's trust the defense and see what happens. I think that could be kind of interesting. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Got more callers to get to before we wrap up here. BMAC time, baby. What's up, BMAC?
Hey, Paul, back. Seems like a while since I've been on.
It has
But
been. Yeah. Thank you for returning. Yeah, we were worried about you.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hanging in there a little bit under the weather.
Oh,
But
you're sick. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Man.
Yeah, a little bit. But you can tell. Well, yeah, man. First of all, I just want to shout out Chef Kevin yesterday for exposing that fall baby bum that Allen.
Yeah, Allen was getting cooked.
Is.
I'm still getting comments, even in the middle of the show. People are still commenting on the video from yesterday saying, man, Chef cooked. So Chef is getting a lot of love from the fans on the Allen roasting that happened. Yes.
Yeah. Chef was in that kitchen and cooking up a meal, man. And
that might be the best meal he's ever made. That could be.
Yeah. And low key, I think Allen is a Buffalo Bills fan.
A Bills fan. Wow. Okay.
Buffalo Bills fan.
Undercover.
You know
Okay.
Yeah, because the way he praises their quarterback and all that stuff, and yeah, man,
could be onto something.
Yeah. I mean, at least I'm not afraid to admit to be a Jet and a Packer fan at the same time.
That's true. But you're at least upfront about it. That's a good point.
Yeah. But we got this fall bum, not owning up to his fandom, and low key he's a Bills fan. So
that makes more sense. Well, I want a camera on him for week 6. Is he wearing Bills gear? What's happening there? That's what we need to know.
He's gonna come out the cards. He's gonna wear.
He will. Great.
A Josh Allen jersey. You know, I mean,
great. Okay.
He's gonna be.
At least we could expose him. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, but enough me roasting that far bum. I do want to say is this talking about this Broncos game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a trap game, and I think it's great that the Broncos won.
Yeah, for sure, that helps. Yeah,
because now it's going to make the Jets like, wow, man, like now we can't overlook this team. Now we got to go in there with our A game and play our best football from start to finish, and we got to play hard. We cannot overlook this Broncos team. Now, if they were lost, maybe you might have some concerns about them being complacent and might be lackadaisical, might overlook them a bit. But I'm glad that the Broncos won, so now it gets to catch their attention. And a lot of people think this is going to be the Rodgers revenge game because of what Sean Payton did. I mean, what Sean Payton said about Hackett. I don't think so. I think the Rodgers revenge game is going to be against the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. I think that's his revenge game. But because last time he played them, what happened last year before snaps.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'd forgot about that. Thank you.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be a Monday Night Football at MetLife. Yeah, I think that's going to be his statement game there. This is just
terrific.
Like a typical.
That'd be a good one.
This is just like a typical, you be an inferior opponent team, and
all right.
I think Rodgers is not really, he's going into his games like, is this another, it's just another game that we need to take care of business. I don't think he's going to this game with extra motivation.
No. Interesting.
Okay. Like, Sean Payton did what he did. Now I'm coming for you. But
you don't think he is? I gotta. Normally I'm just an agreeable guy on takes, but like I think he is super pissed. Did you see that Peter Schrager NFL Network thing at camp last year? What changed from then to now? Just time? I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers. B-Mac, you read the Aaron Rodgers book. He's held a grudge over his family for 10 years. We're talking about a year ago he said that? Oh, boy. Rodgers a guy who holds grudges, which is fine.
Yeah, but like, the family thing, I think it's more on the family's fault. Particularly
that could be. Fault. But still, he's held a grudge for 10 years. He only talked to his family randomly that one time at a golf thing. Like, put that aside, it's been like 10 years of not talking. He held that grudge. You don't think he's going to hold a grudge against Sean Payton, who called his coach, his guy, one of the reasons he came to the Jets in the first place, a bum, and one of the worst coaching performances of all time? Oh, yeah, Rodgers is going to remember that. He's going to remember.
Yeah, but Sean Payton wasn't wrong for what he said. It's not like he was.
I'm not saying he's wrong. Like my dad said, he
Yeah.
came on and said, like, I mean, it's true, but like, so
Yeah.
what? If my brother's an idiot and B-Mac, you come on the show and say, hey, Paul, your brother's an idiot, whether it's true or not, I'm like, whoa, that's my brother, man. So just like Rodgers, whoa, that's my coach, man. So he's going to defend his guy. And by the way, it's great extra motivation for a regular season game. And plus, to your point, I love that the Broncos blew out the Buccaneers. Now there's no excuse for a trap game. I don't think there was before because of the Hackett stuff and everything else, but now especially that's true, 100%.
Yeah, and plus they're at home, and again, man, you got 8 as your quarterback, man. Like it's not like in the past when you have all these bums at quarterback and you going in with no chance. You know, you got 8 under center, and me watching him with the Packers, man. They always say as long as the Packers got a chance, they have 12 on the center. But guess
Correct.
what?
That's how
the
Jet fans
Jets
are
got
feeling
a chance because they got 8 on the center, man, and 8 and watching him did what he did, man. And again, I know it wasn't against the Patriots, but still, you know what I mean? Him carving them up and like he looked like a 30-year-old out there again, man. Like he looked
great.
like 2016 Aaron Rodgers out there, man. And I think that's just getting started. He's only gonna get better. And I think Jet fans, you have to be like, if you're a Jet fan, if you're not pumped up, you know what I mean, then you know that this guy. You know, and I get it. You know, people gonna worry about whether they're injured, but dude, like quarterbacks, like injuries happen. Like quarterbacks, like, and last year was a fluke. Like this guy is before last year, this guy was an Iron Man. Like this guy played with a broken thumb and bruised ribs.
Sure.
Like this dude plays through injuries, man. Like people don't give a lot of credit on how tough this guy is. Like to me, he's underrated as far as his toughness. So this guy is gonna go up there with the tape rib, tape legs, tape knees, and he's still gonna go out there and give it his all, man. So I just think Jet fans need to be happy, and again, man, just take care of business against the Broncos. And you got some tough games coming up, but I think the Vikings are first gold, in my opinion.
I was just about to say, you guys play the Vikings, and we play the Vikings the next week, so we'll see how you guys handle the Vikings at home in Lambeau.
We would take care of business.
Oh,
and
okay.
Shayla will be back, and we will expose Sam Darnold as that bum he is.
Wow.
Next week.
Okay.
So,
all right. We'll see if that's true, B-Mac. We'll see if that's true. Appreciate you. Again, Vikings, undefeated Vikings, are going into Lambeau to play the Green Bay Packers. Let's see how the Packers do. I don't know. It'll be interesting. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. You got Phenom here on the show. What's up, Phenom?
Hey, good morning, Boy Green.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you. We have some receipts on these games. You know, most times it's not personal. This is business. It's not personal. But
correct.
They made it personal. You made it personal. Sure, so on any given Sunday, any NFL team can beat another. We all understand that. So the Broncos are all AFL rival. You know, they have won the season series, all-time series. We have something to play in this game for. So as much as it doesn't have that, you know, it's a conference game. It means something, you know.
100%.
So these coaching staff, obviously there's some blood. There's some bad blood. So it doesn't feel like it feels like a trap game to me still, because these games historically the Jets have been going in some confidence and laid an egg. I don't expect that to happen because of our defense and the way we ran the football. But and then now we have the quarterback. So ideally, this would be a perfect game for Aaron Rodgers to throw for 300 yards, you know, and have that first 300-yard game as a Jet, and the Jets would run for about $150, you know, and we do some things. So, but it doesn't have that feel of it's just a conference game. It has a little bit of that undertone of
got some juice.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I am.
Mm-hmm. I love it, and I agree.
But there's been some receipts. We have some receipts on these guys. We have to make them pay. You know, again, Jets should win three phases of football. Denver surprised me in winning last week, but
for sure,
Bo Nix did look good, and if we don't impose our will, they do have some talent on the offense and on the defense. So hopefully this shouldn't be a shootout.
Definitely not.
Hopefully, no. Yeah, we don't want to see that. We want to see the Jets impose their will. So, but this is why we love it. We've been talking theory all these months. Now we get to see it all in action. No more talk. Talk's out the window now. Talk's out the window. Right. So
it's go time.
Just really looking forward to it. Great show. I love the beard. I like the hat, man.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite one. And out of all, I have a lot of hats on that wall. I'm a big hat collector. Every time I wear this hat, I get a lot of people going, "Oh, hey, I love the hat." And to me, this is one of my favorite hats I have. I love it. I'm a big military family, guys. People know. So yeah, this is one of my favorite hats I own.
Salutes, General Boy Green, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go, baby.
General Green.
General Green. Ooh, that's a good title. I like it. Yeah.
General Green.
Screw Boy Green Daily. General Green Daily.
General Green and his flying force. Yes.
There we go. I love it. We got to put that on a T-shirt. Great idea, Phenom. I love it, buddy.
I need my cut, buddy. I need my cut.
Let me send that royalty check immediately right over to Phenom, baby.
To the Bronx. To the Bronx, baby. Send it to the Bronx. All right.
Will do.
Always enjoy talking to you.
Thanks, Phenom. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, this is, again, you can see the hat. We have the military stars. We got our military insignia over here. It's obviously, we got a nice camo underneath my undercarriage here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Jets hats I own. Again, support the troops, baby. Support the troops. All right, let's go to another caller here, and we're getting the gun show here from EZ. Look at this.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow, okay. Wow, I appreciate the free tickets to the gun show. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a clean shirt. It's a Thursday.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a lot of people ask me that. I'm like, yep, clean shirt. Yeah, that was it. No real rhyme or reason. I appreciate it.
Thursday, a single guy, you got to have the clean shirt on.
Amen.
Anyway, I think this game comes down to the most important thing in any game in the NFL.
Do tell.
Turnovers.
Yeah, for sure. And boy, Bo Nix got a lot of them, man.
If we turn over the ball and we let them hang around, they can beat us. But if we take care of business and control the ball and take care of the ball, then we should win by 2 scores.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense to me in terms of turnover margin. Again, that is normally one of the big deciders in the game of football. And I'll tell you this, as I have the stats here in front of me on the plus or minus. Where's old Denver here? They're near the bottom of the league, and the plus or minus, they're -2 in turnover differential so far this season. So they're in the bottom 7 of the league in that particular category. So yeah, that will be a big determiner.
And say what you will about Sean Payton, but he's a good coach.
Sure,
he's an ass, but he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He is a good coach.
So they an accident, yeah.
Right. They may have a slight coach. They definitely have a coaching edge on offense.
Sure.
But I think our defense is. I think what we did last week to the Patriots might have shaken some offensive coordinators. Because now they don't know what the hell we're going to do. Are they going to rush 4? Are they going to rush 5? Are they going to blitz? What are they going to do? We've opened up the floodgates to a whole bunch of preparations for the other teams.
Wasted time in preparation as far as I'm concerned, because, again, they are not traditionally a blitzing team. So, as Salah said yesterday, basically a warning, we just want to show teams in the NFL that we can still do that when we want to. Like, that's stuff they have to prepare for additionally. Yeah.
Right. And what is the rookie sack record?
The rookie.
Do you know
sack? That's a good. I'm going to be honest. I've never looked that up in my life. Let me see what that is.
Now I know Will McDonald's technically a second-year player, but I mean, last year what did he play? Like maybe 10-15% of all the snaps.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Looks like it was Javon the Freak Curse. He had 14.5 his rookie year. That was back in 1999. So Javon the Freak, you all remember him if you've watched football long enough playing for the Tennessee Titans. Looks like 14.
Oh yeah, Javon Curse. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
For a short time, he dropped off, but whatever.
So 14 and
But
a half
if
looks like that's a record according to the internet. On a
McDonald gets 14 and a half sacks, I'll take that all day long.
Hey, KO said he's going to get between 33 and 47 sacks this year. So there you go. There's that math.
Klecko didn't even get that. That's not happening. Gastineau didn't get that. These are men playing against grown men. No grown man is going to let that guy break the record against him.
Yeah, and again, 47, by the way, would more than double the current sack record. So
that's
historic. I'm not sure the math on that, but I love the confidence, KO.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, we got to be in the realm of reality. But 12 to 16 sacks is maybe, if things work out right. I mean, people have been like saying shit about Quinnen Williams, but he ties up 2 to 3 guys on every play.
Yeah, true. Right.
That's the thing. And who's our run stuffer? The guy on who's injured. Well, he's coming back soon.
He comes next week. He's
Likey Fotu. Yeah.
Next week. Yeah. Oh, we're losing you, Easy. All right, sorry, Easy. It looks like your camera broke up there. But yes, Likey Fotu is supposed to come off of IR next week. Salah said before they even put him on IR, like when he got hurt, they said, hey, we think he'd be good to go potentially for the New England game, but short week, and you don't practice on those short weeks. You do walkthroughs, so that would have put him in a bad spot. So it looks like Likey will be back for the Vikings game. I'll be kind of curious. As long as the swelling's nothing, he should be back for the Vikings game. Technically, they can hold him on IR longer if they wanted to, but he should be back after this Broncos game. Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to the 430 people that are in the room right now. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, or even if you watch after the fact, we always appreciate the comments and support on the channel. Again, we're 43 members away from old Johnny Boy getting his emoji, and then we'll have more people on the list to get emojis. So we'll be gifting and trying to give some of those memberships a little bit later. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back in a couple hours. We're coming back live at 3 o'clock with a different Denver Broncos Insider. I'll be on with Woody for Boy Green Meets Woody. Hopefully you guys can see us in just a couple of hours live, 3 o'clock here on a Thursday. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you then. Take care.